What's next for Marvel? How has my experience been with Starfield? And what does liquid Smarties taste like? Well, I talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toddcast. As always, I am your host, Todd McManus, and of course, we are here, not live, but I am live here in, of course, northern Louisiana, where it is still pretty warm on this day. It is in the 90s still, as we are even in October at this point. So hopefully it gets a little cooler. So just to dive into this a little bit, I'm not one for super hot weather, of course, but I'm also not one for super cold. I feel like there's really nobody that's definitely extreme for one or the other. For me personally, I am more of a fan of the fall weather, I guess you could say. My favorite seasons of the year, out of the 4 seasons, it's either got to be spring or fall, because summer, as a kid, summer was my favorite because it was always the time where you would get out of school. And there's winter and you'd get out of school but you'd only be out of school for like 3 or 4 weeks, or however long you would get out from your high school or your college. In high school, we only got out 2 weeks, but in college, we basically got out the entire month of December, because our finals or midterms, whatever you want to call them, were the last week of November and the first week of December, and then you didn't go back until like the second week of January. So that was a good time. And then, of course, always having summer out, whether it's high school or college, you always got, like 3 months or so to be out during the summertime. Usually leaving school around May and not coming back until August. But, yeah, since I'm not in school anymore, went through high school, went through college, all that, the whole shindig. Now being, an actual adult with a job, I guess you could say my favorite seasons would probably be, it's either fall or spring, and I guess I could go with fall, because spring always is just, hey, winter is over, it's starting to get warm again, and we're also going to make everyone get sick. That's just what spring does. You could get sick any time around year, any week of the year, any day of the year. But spring always is, the allergies and all that kind of stuff. And then with fall, though, my birthday happens during fall, which happened a few weeks ago in September, which is actually the day that fall begins, is either on my birthday or the day after. But that's just when it gets cool and it cools down, and my favorite days are the days that are, in the 60s to 70s, to the point where, I can walk outside with a t-shirt, but it's a little cool to where I need to put some jeans on or something like that, where you can actually, feel good outside in the coolness of the weather. So, yeah, but, today it's in the 90s outside. Pretty sunny, though. Not many clouds. But, of course, the only bad thing about the fall time getting at the end of summer is hurricane season. So, dealing with that, and thoughts out to those being affected a while back from the New York hurricane and one that was way back in Florida. So, and any more that come soon. So, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get into this episode. First off, I wanted to talk about Starfield a little bit. I have been playing a lot of Starfield. As of this episode that I am recording, I have played over 40 hours of Starfield. You heard that right. I have played almost 2 full days worth of this game. And I gotta say, it is really good. I have enjoyed it. I will give some spoilers. I'm not going to go too deep into detail of story, except the main story I do want to talk about a little bit. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead into that a little bit. So Starfield's a video game made by Bethesda, if you don't know. Bethesda is a video game company. They have made games like Fallout. They have made The Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Oblivion. they've made really good games. So they have like a really good track record of making RPG or role-playing games throughout their history. And I've been a fan of Bethesda for a long time. I played Fallout New Vegas, I played Fallout 4, I played Skyrim. I don't know if I've played any other. I played Fallout Shelter on the phone, which is a really fun game in itself. So, but this is a brand new IP, of course, and I've talked about it numerous times on this podcast. And what I wanted to say about the game itself is that it is really fun. It takes aspects from both Skyrim and all the other Elder Scrolls games and taking other aspects from the Fallout games, but creating a new, entirely different and new story, an entirely different new setting, which takes place in the year, I think, 2330. And you are not on Earth. Earth was not really destroyed, but it is inhabitable. There is no oxygen anymore. The entire world looks like a desert. And it's just a really interesting story trying to prove if aliens are out there is kind of the end game towards the end of it. That, is there alien life forms? Are there this? Are there that? But humans are the main race of being that are in this game, in this story of the game. That there are no really alien life forms that can talk. There are, alien animals on other planets and all that kind of stuff, but it's mainly humans that are the ones making habitats on other worlds. Now, a lot of planets do not have any living beings at all. Some of them, a lot of moons out there that have no oxygen and no plants, no animals. So they're kind of just barren wastelands that are really going to be good for when people make what they call mods, which is you can download a mod and it will take the place of that moon as like another planet from our solar system in real life, or the Death Star from Star Wars, or something, that's not in the game, but they can put it in. Or for future DLC content as well. So, but pertaining to the main story of the game, with a little bit of spoilers, or a lot of spoilers, I should say, is that a lot of people were not too intrigued by the end of the story with Constellation. That the way it works is that you go on this big story and you go and you find all of these artifact pieces across many different planets in the solar systems and in this universe. And you are supposed to put them together, find them all, and then when they come together, they create like a big circle or whatever, and they give you the power to travel to a place called Unity, which is this place like between time and space or something like that. And it's basically going towards that the multiverse theory is a real thing. And what it is that you go into Unity, you talk to a person who actually is you. You're talking to another version of yourself. And what it is that when you step into Unity, you start the entire game over and you play through it again. And that's like their version of New Game Plus, because they said they had New Game Plus, and I was very interested into knowing how that was going to work with a Bethesda game. And they actually tied that into the story. Like, the story of the game is kind of based around starting and replaying the game over and over and over again, which makes it, very replayable. But there's so much more that you can do just in one playthrough without even starting it over. Building outposts, doing all the missions, just traveling through space, discovering every planet. But I defeated the main mission and got to that point where you could choose go into Unity or go back into your universe. Of course, I went back into my universe. I did not go into Unity. And I wanted to do the situation where I wanted to complete as much as I can, or everything that I can, before I even go into Unity. Because I don't want to, leave something undone, unchecked, and then go into Unity, and then now I'm starting all over. So it's very confusing, and all of you listening are probably a little confused about all that. Basically, though, I had a good time playing it. I've kind of died down with the game as of right now, because there's really not much else that I can or want to do. I mean, building an outpost in itself is kind of difficult to get materials without just buying them and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to learn and trying to do that kind of stuff, and leveling up gets harder, so it gets harder to do that kind of stuff. But we're moving on through. There's many other games coming out in this month of October, so I'm looking forward to those. Like Spider-Man 2 comes out soon, and other games like that. And I think there's like a new Mario game coming out, honestly. So we'll have to see how all that goes. So yeah, but otherwise, I have very much enjoyed Starfield. I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, because there are a few little things here and there where it's like, it's not that it really breaks. I mean, there are bugs here and there, but it's not as much as past Bethesda games. But, people try to compare this to be Skyrim, and Skyrim is considered one of the greatest games ever. And I don't think Starfield has fully captured the essence of that yet, because they got to put out different DLCs. They need to put out different story modes. They have to put out different versions of that. Because with Skyrim, I played after all of that was already put out. So, I'm playing through this vampire storyline. Then I'm going to go over here and to fight in the civil war between the two nations and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, there's just so much more to do in Skyrim now than there was, because of all the DLCs and updates they put out over the years. Excuse me. So yeah, Starfield, while it is really good and the base game is just amazing and I like it, I can understand people having quarrel with what the game has to offer right now. But all I'm saying is, don't worry just yet. I think the DLC, when it comes, will prove that there is going to be a bigger, better game coming. So that's my whole spiel on Starfield. Also announced a little while ago is the new Meta Quest 3 VR headset, which is a lot of words. The Meta Quest 3, of course made by Meta, will be hitting stores on... when this episode comes out, it'll already be available. So, on October the 10th, it has hit in stores. It will start at $500 for 128 gigs of storage, and then there is going to be a $650 version, $150 more, but this will have 512 gigabytes of free space. So, for an extra $150, you are basically getting like, 2 to 3 times as much storage, so like 2.5 times more. That might be pretty worth it if you're going to plan on using the MetaQuest 3 a lot. So yeah, but if you also get the 512 gig version for $650, it also comes with a 6-month subscription of MetaQuest Plus for free, and that usually costs $60 a year. And yeah, so I'm just trying to read through different reviews about it. This person said that it looks much sharper and nicer than it did in the MetaQuest 2. Side-by-side game comparisons Meta showed me included a substantially higher level of detail and texture quality. It's not quite the level of a PS5, but it is a lot better than any other previous VR headset. So if you're a VR person, you might want to check out the MetaQuest 3 if you're willing to pay at least $500 or more on the MetaQuest 3 headset. If you're going to go for the best choice, it would probably be the $650 version. I do not own a VR headset. I would like to. Owning like a VR headset like that would probably be pretty cool. they have like different versions for your PC or whatever, but the MetaQuest has proven to be like the standard of VR and different VR games. You got your PS5, you got your Xbox, you got your Nintendo Switch until they announce another Nintendo console, and you have your MetaQuest. So they're not in the console wars, of course, but I definitely think MetaQuest 3 is like number 4 out of all of those 3, I guess you could say. PC also is there, but that's basically mixed in with Xbox as well. So that's up for debate on all of that kind of stuff. So, which I need to get me a PC as well. So, going into a little bit of Marvel news real quick. Loki Season 2 has already premiered on October the 5th. And I have not started it yet. I have not had some time yet. Of course, I am getting married soon, so I have, different things to deal with right now. But yeah, Loki Season 2 has already premiered on Disney Plus with weekly episodes. If you are going to watch it, check it out. And, I'm definitely going to try and give it a watch soon enough and see what it's going to be all about and see if it's good and let y'all know if it was or is worth watching. Also, I have not had the ability to watch Ahsoka yet. I do plan on watching that soon. And also, I was going to mention this a while back. The Amazon Prime show Gen V, which is based on college students during the times of The Boys. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to start watching it pretty soon, I think. Of course, it is very, very rated R in The Boys fashion. But I do plan on checking that out. If you want to check it out, it's called Gen V, which is Gen and then the letter V, over on Amazon Prime Video. You can check that out if you would like to as well. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into some questions. I got 2 questions here that are kind of tier list related, somewhat. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to dive into these. And if you want to answer these as well, you can also take part by putting your answer in the comment section on the YouTube version. The YouTube link is down in the description of this podcast episode. You click or tap on that, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe and also listen to the episodes on YouTube that are available every Monday, with these new episodes premiering every Saturday on podcast platforms. The YouTube version comes out 2 days later on every Monday. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into these. First question we have is, it's a 2-parter. What is your favorite Ben & Jerry's flavor? And maybe a tier list? I really like the way that you worded this question. First off, the first part of your question, I think my favorite Ben & Jerry's flavor, I think it's pretty basic. Mine is milk and cookies. It is vanilla ice cream with chocolate chip cookie dough, and I think it's got like chocolate cookies in it as well. I tried half baked, and it's got a lot in it, and it is, I think half baked is probably the best in a lot of people's eyes. Is that they're number 1. But I'm a fan. I've been a fan of milk and cookies for a while. I think that is one of the best and one of the better flavors that I can get down with. I like the chocolate chip cookie dough part of the milk and cookies ice cream is probably my favorite, and I like it very much. And the second part of your question, maybe a tier list. A tier list of Ben & Jerry's is quite the idea. I would probably definitely do that. I would have, God, that'd be expensive nowadays to get, like 6, 7, or 8 Ben & Jerry's flavors. I'd probably do that, though. I wouldn't mind having to review a few Ben & Jerry's flavors. Something I haven't done. It's just the matter of getting it cold, keeping them cold, and having enough time to be able to review them. Of course, I could get them out right after, but Ben & Jerry's ice cream and that little cup container they come in, it always seems to melt quicker. And whenever they're in those, like, it's not styrofoam, but it's like those like paper style cup containers they come in, they always seem to melt quicker. I don't know if it's the container it's in or something else, but either way, I would definitely try that out. I could probably do that. Maybe not in the future right now, but that's something I would consider to do. So yeah, but milk and cookies is my favorite flavor, but tier list, maybe not soon, but maybe within, that you might have given a tier list idea for 2024, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Now, the second question we have here is also tier list related, so I guess y'all are liking the tier list, I assume. So this question is, what drink or food item do you plan on doing a tier list for? What have I not done? So, I guess you can encompass a lot of things in tier list, because I've done tier list on movies and shows as well. Let's go back. I'm going to scroll back to when my first tier list. So, I did all the Star Wars movies and series counted in one tier list. I did the DC movies, the Marvel movies and series. I did those separately, I think. And I also have done Prime hydration drink tier list with the 9 flavors that were available. There is a new flavor available now, I think, that's called Glowberry. I have not tried it yet. I haven't found it yet, honestly. So, I've done Prime. Have I done anything since then? Oh, I did a bunch of candy with Crunch, Kit Kat, Starburst, all that kind of stuff. And I haven't done one since then. So I would probably do... See, I reviewed, like, the same drink, but multiple flavors in the past. Like, water, or Fanta, or... What else did I do? I think I did, like, Powerade at some point. Once you start to review so many things, it gets hard to remember what I have reviewed. Because I can go to a gas station, and I could pick out what I have and have not reviewed, but I cannot for the life remember me. Or for me to remember, like, what I've done without seeing it all, So I can scroll back in my photos, I guess, and see... Have I done a Mountain Dew tier list? Mountain Dew is one that I think I could do. But it's going to have to be like... It's going to have to be something that I can be able to eat or drink a lot of in a short amount of time and be okay. Like Mountain Dew, they all have caffeine. If you didn't know that, every single Mountain Dew has caffeine in it. Did I do a Fanta? I don't know if I reviewed a bunch of different flavors of Fanta. Fanta's always been one that I would do, but I think I have reviewed them. Yeah, because I had a yellow Fanta. I think I remember that. But to do a tier list specific food item or drink item, because, yeah, I could do like movies or shows or whatever, like Cartoon Network series or something like that. But food and drink specifically... I would find more luck doing candy if I'm doing something with food, which would have to be like chocolate bars or like different flavors of Kit Kat, stuff like that. And if I was to do drinks, it would have to be like Coke products, Pepsi products, or different flavors of one branded drink, like I've said before with Fanta, or it would have to be... water would definitely be one. Or I could do something like different orange drinks. But your question was, do I have anything planned? Well, I mean, the last question gave me an idea of Ben & Jerry's flavors, so I might do that. But it's difficult to find, like if you go to one place, you'd have to basically do kind of like a scavenger hunt to do different drink or food items if you can't find more than like 3 flavors. Because in my opinion, if you're going to do a full review of like different flavors of like Kit Kat, you don't need 3. You need at least like 5 or 6 or more. If you can find up to like 8 different flavors of Kit Kat, that's a whole review right there. And if you can find a tier list with all of those flavors that are considered that you have also on all those items that you were reviewing, if they are all on a tier list, then I think that would be really good too. But that you just got to go to like tiermaker.com to be able to find that kind of stuff. Excuse me. So having any tier list planned for 2024, I don't know. There's a few that I can think of. Just going to a gas station, I could probably just have an idea of thinking of different ones. But if you have any tier lists that you would like for me to do, please, again, leave them down in the comments below on the YouTube version. You can leave your question for a future episode as also a food or drink item that I might consider doing a review or even a tier list on. So thank you for your questions, and now it is time for a little bit of a review. I've got 2 completely different items here with me today. Firstly, we have Hostess. Oh, these aren't Hostess. These are Little Debbie. Excuse me. Sorry, Little Debbie. These are Little Debbie chocolate covered donuts, or chocolate frosted donuts. So it's basically like the powdered donuts that you would get, but these are covered in chocolate. Let's try to get this open. There we go. Okay. Oh my. I'm going to have to get me some napkins. It's a good thing I had napkins right next to me. So, interesting. Let's go ahead and put that there. Gotta lick the chocolate off my fingers. These are very chocolatey. These are just a bag of Little Debbie mini frosted donuts. They're not really frosted at all. They're just covered in chocolate. 4 donuts is a serving, 5 servings in this container, 290 calories, cholesterol, sodium, all that kind of stuff. So they're just a bag of frosted covered or chocolate covered donuts by Little Debbie. Very chocolatey, as in when you touch it, it just gets immediately on your fingers. So, and they're small, so that's good. But I'm gonna go ahead and give these a try. Okay. Interesting. Okay. They're pretty good. Yeah, I like them. I wouldn't, I mean, they're not amazing, but they're not bad. So, on the scale of 0 to 100 with no decimals, I would give the Little Debbie chocolate donuts I'd probably give them like a 72 because they're good. I can enjoy them. It's just I probably won't seek them out again, but I can definitely see myself finishing this bag. So, Little Debbie chocolate donuts get a 72. Now the next item is something that I've been excited to review, and I've had it for a little while, for like a week or two. And I don't really know what to expect with this. It is squeeze candy. So it looks like it's in literally a toothpaste tube. But it is Smarties tart and tangy mixed fruit squeeze candy. So, I gotta, hold on. I gotta open it. It's got a little piece of, oh my gosh. It's literally like a tube of toothpaste, but with, it's Smarties squeeze. Oh, God. Oh, why? I'm not going to put this on anything. I'm literally just going to squeeze it into my mouth. Okay, let's put that back on there. Okay. Oh. All right, I'm going to smell test it. Oh, God, that is strong. Does it smell like that? Oh. Okay, so this is just basically red liquid in a tube. And I'm kind of scared, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. Smarties squeeze candy. Oh, that consistency is not right. Oh. Why is this a thing? Very interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, here's my thoughts on it. It is kind of thick, not super thick though. It's still a little thin, but it is, it's not as toothpaste consistency, but it's definitely not water. So, but it is closer to toothpaste consistency. It's kind of like a jam almost that you put in a tube. Just imagine you put like jelly or jam in a tube of toothpaste, but there's no toothpaste. You just put it in the tube and then try to squeeze it out and drink it. That's kind of what this is. It's super sugary. Oh, there's this on here. 5 teaspoons is a serving size. It's 100 calories each. 20 grams of sugar. Good Lord. It's just a lot of sugar and a lot of flavor. It does have a good, decent flavor. It's just the consistency is getting to me. I think this is pretty good. I mean, it's got a good flavor, like I said. I probably wouldn't want this again because it's also like, what are you eating over there? Oh, I'm eating a tube of Smarties paste. Because that's all I can think of is basically like toothpaste. So I would probably give this a 76 because it does have a good flavor. The consistency is definitely throwing me off because it does have a distinct flavor of Smarties, but it's just not the hard, chalky candy that you would get in a little Smarties roll. This is literally just a tube of Smarties that are liquefied, which is very interesting. Not gross. It does taste good, but it's very interesting. So, Little Debbie chocolate donuts at a 72 and Smarties in a tube at 76. So, if you have any questions or review items that you would like for me to review in the future, please comment them down below on the YouTube version. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. As always, please rate and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow on Instagram at _Toddcast_. Only on Instagram for your updates and Toddcast needs. Tell your friends and family to give it a listen, and thank all of you for listening to this episode. And if you want to know what's going to happen next week, we just got to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.